I don't know. Cool. And then I'm gonna give, I need you all to help me make sure that when the jury is coming in and out, that I have this camera down. So that it's not showing them.
Thank you all for coming today. So as I said in before here, my name is Christina Ritter and I am Assistant Prosecutor Attorney on behalf of the state of Michigan. So ladies and gentlemen, again, my job today is to prove this verdict. We talked about it for here, heard it a couple of times, and that verdict is to prove behind the reasonable doubt. So ladies and gentlemen, the key to the evidence that will be presented today by the people will be that reasonable doubt that I want you all to keep in the back of your mind. And remember, it's based on reason and common sense that we all use in everyday life. So ladies and gentlemen, back on April of 2021, there was verbal dispute between Ms. Wilma Baker and the complaining witness who you all hear from today, named Sherry Gibson. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're not here about what that verbal dispute was about. We're not here about the history between Ms. Baker and Ms. Gibson. We're here because on that day, in the location in the city of Detroit, Ms. Baker was arguing with Ms. Gibson. She didn't hit her. We're not saying she hit her. And we're not saying that she beat her up or put her in the hospital. But during this argument, Ms. Baker came into the vicinity of Ms. Gibson and pointed her finger and was saying a lot of verbal communication with Ms. Gibson. She pointed her finger and her finger actually got into Ms. Gibson's eye, okay? So ladies and gentlemen, I want you all to pay attention to the details of the case and I want you all to hear the testimony that will be presented today by the people. And it's important, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, to remember that my job and my burden today is to prove beyond that reasonable doubt. Not the shadow of doubt, not a mere all possibility of a doubt, but a reasonable doubt. So ladies and gentlemen, you'll hear the evidence today, and you'll hear the testimony from Ms. Gibson, and she'll tell you what happened on that day. But you'll also hear the testimony from Officer Fairley, who was the responding officer in this case, and she'll tell you also what happened. So ladies and gentlemen, I know when we're here, we talked about corroboration. And you all understood what that concept was. So I want you to keep that in the back of your mind when you listen to the testimony from the officer who responded to the scene, and she'll testify and let you all know what happened on the day of that incident, okay? So ladies and gentlemen, again, there's elements to the crime, and those elements have to be proven beyond that reasonable doubt that we all know by the people. So ladies and gentlemen, like I said in voir dire, all I have to do is prove beyond that reasonable doubt that the elements of this crime, and I'm not gonna tell you what those elements are because you'll all get that in your instructions later on when you're deliberating. All I have to prove are the elements of this crime. And if I've proven that today through the evidence and the testimony that you'll all hear today, you all will come up with a verdict of guilty for count one assault or assault act. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Will the defense be making that statement now?
Yes.
All right, you may proceed.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. My name is Trophy Star, as stated before, and I have the honor and privilege of representing my client, defending my client, Ms. Wilma Baker, here in this case. What are we here for? Prosecution making an allegation that my client, Ms. Baker, touched the alleged victim here in the case. Yeah, that's the statements made by the alleged victim here in this case, that my client touched her in the eye. You're going to hear statements from my client because my client at the time was married and the alleged victim at this time was with your strange husband.
Hold on, counsel. I apologize for interrupting. I really do. I didn't mean for the notebooks to go out yet. So please don't write. Don't write until he's finished. I apologize. You may continue.
So let's say this again. My client at this time, she was married. She was married, and her husband, she believed, was with the complaining witness, the alleged victim here in this case. But even through all of that, you're going to hear statements from my client that she made that day when she said, you know what, yeah, you may be with me. Yeah, I may want to hit you. I do want to hit you, but guess what? I'm not going to, because I have too much to lose. You're going to hear from another witness, a neighbor, who says the allegations that's being made by the alleged victim here in this case, bogus. It didn't happen that way. Actually, Miss Baker was the victim here in this case. You're going to see from the evidence that's displayed from the officer's body cam video that the police, they saw it that way too. They did not take action on Miss Baker that day. You know, the prosecutor talked about corroboration. You're going to see from the neighbor's story, the neighbor's view of events, whose story actually corroborates. Heck, there will be a recording played that the victim, the alleged victim, made herself, where it actually corroborates what my client said, and also to what my client did, but then also to what the neighbor observed and saw. You're going to see those things. Now, as I stated earlier, and as the prosecution has acknowledged, they have the burden here in this case. What is a burden? What does that mean in legal sense? That means basically whose job is it to prove whatever allegation is being made? It's their job. It's their job to prove the allegation that my client, Ms. Wilma Baker, touched offensively or inappropriately the alleged victim here in this case. That's their job to do. Now, what's the standard? The standard, as we talked about earlier, is beyond a reasonable doubt. Right? There are many standards in the legal field. One of them, this is a civil standard, is preponderance of the evidence. You see those billboards with the car accident attorneys everywhere. If you get into an accident, you're the plaintiff, you have to prove that case by preponderance of the evidence. That's a very low standard, right? That means more likely than not, the injuries you sustained was because of that accident. Very low standard. Even lower than that is probable cause. Probable cause is a standard where it's just enough evidence. Not a lot, just enough evidence to arrest someone, right? So you got probable cause, you got preponderance of the evidence. After that, you got clear and convincing evidence. If the state says you're abusing or neglecting your children, the state will attempt to try to take your children away from you. And they'll say, hey, by clear and convincing evidence, you're doing this, which is negatively affecting children. By clear and convincing evidence. That's how it's said. Beyond a reasonable doubt is higher than that. That's their job to prove. Because beyond a reasonable doubt is just that. As I stated earlier, if you have any doubt about the case, any doubt that is reasonable, right, you must come back with the verdict of not guilty. It's a very high standard for them to show. Beyond a reasonable doubt. As the judge stated earlier, my client is presumed innocent. That needle only moves if you have no reasonable doubt about this case. But I believe that after hearing the testimony, I believe after listening to the recordings, I believe after hearing from the neighbor, I believe you will have doubt with this case. Because I believe that, at the end, I'm going to ask you to come back with the verdict of not guilty. Thank you.
Okay, and ladies and gentlemen, you can now take notes from, with respect to the notepads. Are the people ready to call their first witness?
Yes, Your Honor, at this time, if you'd like to call Sherry Anderson.
All right, officer, can you get Mr. Gibson?
Can I take a quick tea? Just a real quick tea?
Yes.
Okay.
Ma'am, give your name.
CHERROGISO. Thank you.
Ms. Gibson, walk towards me and actually just go ahead and sit in the witness box. I'm gonna wait for the defense attorney. All right, ma'am, can you stand for me and raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes. You may be seated, council approach. Approach. No, to the side right here. All right, so, council.
Yes, Judge, before I start the testimony, I would ask the court for order of sequestration for all witnesses.
All right.
And I consent, I agree with that.
And do you have an OIC that's gonna be present at all in the trial or no?
No, Your
Okay, so the motion for sequestration is granted and it is mutual. Therefore, of course, this is the people's first witness, but, where are the two other witnesses?
My witness is right out there in the hallway.
And, where's the officer?
I believe the officer is outside.
So so Officer Crafts and also just go out and inform the witnesses that there is a sequestration order and that they are not to view these proceedings on YouTube. And that includes the officer, the police officer. Okay, all right. Okay, counsel, you may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. Good afternoon, Ms. Gibson. Ms. Gibson, can you give your full name to the jury, please?
Sharon Lynette Gibson.
Ms. Gibson, I apologize, and Ms. Ritter, I apologize. Ms. Gibson, there's a mic.
Okay.
And it moves like this, and the handle of it moves like this.
Okay.
Is the light on for that
Right
one?
here.
No,
No,
right
light.
here.
No light. Would you like to tap the button?
Yes,
No.
okay, and then, all right. Okay, jurors, if you can't hear the witness, raise your hand and let me know. I apologize again for that interruption. Ms. Ritter, you may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Gibson, I want to take you back to April 13th of 2021. Do you recall that day?
Yes, I do.
And can you tell the jury where you were on that day?
I was at home.
Okay. And at any point on that day, did you go to a location on Trinity Street?
Absolutely, yes.
And is that the city of Detroit?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that in the county of Wayne?
Pardon?
Is that in the county of Wayne?
Yes.
Okay. And Ms. Gibson, why did you go to this location on April 13th of 2021?
I went to this location because my kid's father had asked me to take him to work. And he said that his work closed was on Trinity.
Okay. Now, what is the name of your child's father?
Derek Jason Brown.
Okay. And how long have you known Mr. Brown?
9 years.
Okay. And at this time, how did you arrive at the location on Trinity?
He drove the car. I was in my passenger seat.
Okay, whose car was it that you were traveling in?
Mine.
Okay, and was there anyone else in the vehicle with you?
No, ma'am.
So it's just you and Mr. Brown?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and do you remember what time it was?
Maybe around 9:30, almost 10
Okay, was that at night or in the morning?
in the morning.
Okay, and what happened when you arrived at this location?
He proceeded to go in the house. After he came out the house, they proceeded to argue. She came up to my window, very belligerent.
Okay, let me stop you right there, Ms. Gibson. So let's take it back just a little bit, so we can clarify for the jury.
Yes,
So when you say, he went to the house, do you know who house this was?
their house, their home.
Who is there?
Miss
Or I'm
Brown,
sorry, who is that?
Miss Brown and Miss Brown.
Okay, the person you're referring to as Miss Brown, do you see that person in the courtroom?
Absolutely
And can you point them out and tell me what they're wearing?
black. And
Okay, does that person have anything on their face?
I can't see it.
Is that person wearing a mask?
No.
Is that person wearing any eyewear glasses?
No.
Okay. Judgment, the record reflect identification of Wilma Baker.
Your Honor, I would object. She said Ms. Brown. Object to the identification at this time. She said Ms. Brown. That one person.
She had the wrong name, that's for sure. And what was your question to her? Ms. Ritter, your question to her was, did she see? Repeat your question to the witness.
The last person?
When you were asking her about the clothing of the person, what was your question to her?
My question was, does she have a mask on her face?
No. When you asked the witness, the questions, so the witness said she pulled up to a place and Mr. and Miss Brown, Mr. Brown got out, and then she said, Miss Brown, something or other.
Yes.
Okay, and then I believe you asked her, was your question to her, do you see the person, do you see Miss Brown, or, I don't know if you said Miss Brown, but you said, do you see the person?
My question was, Judge, the person you're referring to as Miss Brown, see that person in court?
Okay, that's what I was asking. That was your question to the witness. And then witness, when she asked you that question, do you see the person that you're referring to as Miss Brown in the courtroom? You said yes, correct?
yes,
And then so the objection as to defense counsel's objection to the identification is overruled. But I'm not prepared to accept the identification only because I don't know if she pointed. You said point to her and identify, but I don't know if she pointed, but she just said the person has on black, and it's a lot of people in here with black on, including me.
Ms. Gibson, can you point to the person you're referring to and describe what they're wearing?
right there with black and blue jeans and cheetah shoes on.
Okay, and I'll ask you again, does that person have a mask?
No,
Does that person have any eyewear on?
no,
Okay, how is that person's hair?
pardon,
How is that person's hairstyle?
braided,
Okay, do you see any colors in the person's
red
hair?
and brown or blonde.
Judge, may the record reflect again identification of Wilma Baker.
The record will reflect the identification of Ms. Baker as an individual that this witness believes is Ms. Brown. That's the identification.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay.
So, Ms. Gibson, do you know the person that you're referring to as Ms. Brown? Do you know that person, from anywhere?
No,
Okay, have you seen this person before?
yes,
Okay, do you know this person to be called by any other names?
Danielle,
And what about any other names?
No.
Okay, so Ms. Gibson, so you see this person and you said Mr. Brown arguing, correct?
yes,
Okay, and where are you when you see them arguing?
in the passenger seat of my vehicle,
Okay, and where is your vehicle located?
in the front of the house, like curbside,
Okay, and where's the house located?
right in front, like you would pull up on a curb right here. Not on the exact curb, but we pull up and then the person's house is right here.
Okay, so you're in the passenger side, correct?
Yes, me,
So is the house on the left, to your left or to your right?
to my right,
Okay, and you said you're in front of this house, correct?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, and What, if anything, do you do when you see, these two people arguing?
I didn't say anything. I let them have their own conversation, and that was it.
Okay, and what happened next?
Uh, She proceeded to come to my car,
Okay, when you say she, who are you referring to?
Ms. Baker,
Okay, so she proceeds to come to your vehicle,
and she
and
started.
what, I'm sorry,
I'm
and when she proceeds to come to your vehicle, where are you at this point?
I'm still in the passenger seat of my car,
Okay, and what side of your vehicle did she approach?
the right side.
Okay, and what happens when she approaches your vehicle?
She's loud, she's belligerent, cussing, asking me, was I with her husband? Where was he at? And she said she should punch me in my face if she didn't want to catch case. And she proceeded to beat on my car and then mush my face and start to put her fingers in my eyes.
Okay, so let's back up just a little bit. So when you say Ms. Baker is, yelling and being belligerent, as you referred, correct? Where are you at? Yes or no?
Yes. I apologize.
Repeat that.
I said yes.
Okay, where are you at this point?
I'm still in the passenger side of my car.
Okay, and did you ever get out at any point?
No, I sat there like I'm sitting here, trying to talk to her, and she was just still belligerent, still putting her fingers in my face, in my eyes, and mushing my face.
Okay, so where was she standing when you say she's putting her fingers in your face?
The window is down, and she in my window.
Okay.
In my face.
Okay, and you testified that she's on the passenger side of the vehicle, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're still sitting on the passenger side of the vehicle,
Yes,
correct?
ma'am.
Okay, and what happens after, her fingers come into contact with you?
I'm asking her to stop. Like, I'm trying to push her back. I'm not saying anything, but I'm pushing her back, trying to move out the way, roll my window up. Mr. Brown proceeds to say, hey, relax, try to get her out the way, and she proceeds to be more belligerent and saying, I don't give a F. I have the recording if you'd like to hear it.
Okay, let's just slow down just a little bit. So where was Mr. Brown when Ms. Baker approaches your vehicle initially?
He was standing right behind her on the side, and he was letting us talk, but she got very loud and started beating on my car. And once she started to put her hands on me, that's when he was like, hey, there's no need for that. And then she turned around saying, I don't give a F, and proceeded to swing on it.
Okay, and what happens after she swings on Mr. Brown?
He's trying to restrain her from, hitting him and beating on him.
And where are you at this point?
Still sitting in my car on the passenger side.
Okay, now how long does this, altercation between Mr. Brown and Ms. Baker, how long does that?
I want to say maybe like 5 minutes.
Okay, and where are you at while this is all unfolding?
Passenger seat of my vehicle.
Okay, and at any time, did you call the police?
After the fact.
And when you say after the fact, what are you referring to?
Like once we moved away from, we called the police, and then we noticed somebody else had called the police, because they were standing, they walked up around.
Okay, so let's back up just a little bit. So you say you moved away from, who are you referring to?
Me and Mr. Brown,
Okay, so when you say you and Mr. Brown moved away from where?
the residents,
Okay, and how did you move away from the residence?
we drove,
Okay, and about how far did you get before you stopped the company?
like, in the middle of the block, like,
Okay, so-
like, the next block over in the middle,
Okay, so are you still on the same block?
same block.
Okay, same block,
Mhm.
and you're still on Trinity Street, correct?
Yes,
Okay, and at this point, why did you decide to call the police?
because he was still trying to get his work closed, and I'm pretty sure it wouldn't went well after that.
Okay. So do you recall how long it took for the police to come to the location?
Maybe 10.
Okay. And where were you when the police arrived to the location?
Still in the middle of that block.
Okay, did at some point you ever go back to Miss Baker's house?
No, not after we were in the middle of the block. All the police officers that came out and they were questioning us, and then they had to call their superior because they said this was too much for them, so they called their superior to get it.
Okay,
And
so let me just stop you right there. For a second. So Did you have a chance to speak with, an officer when they arrived to the scene?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you recall how many officers arrived to the scene?
I want to say maybe 3 at first, and then maybe like another 3.
Okay, and which officers did you speak to? The initial officers who arrived to the scene or the assistant officers?
I spoke to all.
Okay, and where were you when you were speaking to the officers?
I was still in the middle of that block.
Okay, and when you spoke with the officers, did you get out of your vehicle at some point?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and when you spoke with the officers, did you, give the officers a statement?
Absolutely.
Okay, and Ms. Gibson, did you give Ms. Baker, permission to point her fingers in your face?
Absolutely not.
Okay. May I have one moment, Judge? You may. So Ms. Gibson, after the incident, when you testified that Ms. Baker was pointing her fingers in your face, did you notice anything after that?
My contact was ruptured, so I had to go home and clean my eyes because it definitely affected my eyes.
Okay, which eye, was it that,
It was my right.
your right eye? Okay, and when you spoke with the police, did you give them that information?
Absolutely. And they had it on their cameras.
Okay, and at some point, did you seek any medical attention?
No, because I know.
Okay, and when you say you know what to do, can you explain that to the jury?
I'm sorry, what did you just ask?
When you say you know what to do, can you explain that to the jury?
So I went home and continued to flush my eye out with water and saline. And, give it a couple of days before I put my corrective lenses back in.
Okay, and can you describe or do you recall what your physical appearance was with your eye? When
It
Ms.
was,
Baker
it was definitely bloodshot red. And I had a scratch on my eye.
Okay, and which eye again was it?
My,
Okay. Now, Ms. Gibson, you testified that, you've seen Ms. Baker before?
yes,
Have you had any interaction with Ms. Baker before this incident?
yes.
Okay, and what interaction did you have with Ms. Baker?
Me and Ms. Baker actually met, when Mr. Brown brought her over to my grandmother's house so that we can officially meet.
Okay,
Yes.
and how long ago was that before this incident?
I want to say that was in the winter, so maybe around January, like, it was cold.
Okay, so a couple months before this incident?
Yeah.
Okay, no further questions, Judge. Cross examination?
Okay, good afternoon, Ms. Gibson. My name is Trovia Starr. I'm a criminal defense attorney. What I'm doing is representing my client, Ms. Wilma Baker. I'm going to ask you a series of questions. If you don't understand the question, just say so. If you don't remember the answer to the question, just say so. If you can't recall, just say so. That's the whole point, just say so, all right? Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but initially you testified that you do not know Ms. Brown or Ms. Baker, correct?
No, I didn't.
You didn't say that initially? You want to maybe approach?
May you approach me?
Yeah, maybe approach.
Oh, sure. Oh.
Madam Court Reporter, can you come in the back for a minute?
Number 4. Yes, ma'am. Okay, no, this is the time to take a break. So let's take a maybe 5 minutes, Madam Court Reporter. Okay, yeah, I'm looking for my. Okay, let's take a 5-minute break anyway, so, but go to the, take them back to the jury room. Oh, hold on, take them back to the jury room though. All right,
All rise to adjourn.
oh, and please leave your notepads in the chair, face down, whether or not you've taken notes. All right, you may. Mr. Oh, y'all looking at something.
Yes.
Okay, you said you do have them? Oh, okay. Are the jurors finished being in hall? They already down?
No, they still.
No, I need them, they have to go to the jury room. No juror can be in the hall. Take the jurors to the jury room. Jury room. Every juror has to go to the jury room. There's a bathroom in the jury room.
Judge, may I
Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
So Ms. Gibson, you do know Ms. Brown and or Ms. Baker, correct? Before this incident?
Before the incident?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Now, the gentleman you mentioned, what was his name again?
You're Jason Brown.
Okay, isn't it true that at the time of this incident, that individual was married to Miss Brown?
Judge,
correct?
I'm gonna object to really. Respond.
Well, it provides a basis to why she's there. It goes in line with her story, totally relevant in terms of who knows who and why they know that person.
I will all over.
Correct? What was his name again?
You're Jason Brown.
Mr. Brown, at that time of the incident, was married to this lady right here sitting to my left, correct?
You just said Miss Brown. Yes.
Yes. And that's why you refer to her as Miss Brown?
Yes.
Because he took his name, his last name?
That's what I thought she was.
Okay, all right. Now, you mentioned that when the incident took place, the allegation that you got hit in the face and whatnot, you mentioned that both you and your boyfriend or
No, my kid's father.
your kid's father were both in the car, correct?
No, we arrived to the home.
Uh-huh.
He got out, he went in. They proceeded to argue as they were coming out.
Okay, so it was just you in the car, correct?
Yes, sir, I was on the passenger side.
And you stated that you recorded the interaction, correct?
Not visual, but audio.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
You have an audio recording of the interaction between yourself and Ms. Brown.
Mhm.
Correct. Okay, one moment. At this time, I will ask for permission to be on Zoom.
Okay.
Before I do that, let me ask you a couple of questions, Ms. Brown. You mentioned that you got hit in the eye, correct?
You said you're asking me a question?
I'm sorry, Ms. Gibson.
Yes,
Ms. Gibson, you stated that you got hit in the eye, correct?
absolutely,
And that your eye was infected. correct?
absolutely.
So it's fair to say that you do not, that eye, you said the right eye, right?
No, right,
It's not a glass eye, correct?
no,
So if you got hit by anything, you will feel it, correct?
absolutely.
Okay. Your Honor, I would need the screen sharing.
You have it now.
I have it. I see. Ms. Gibson, as you stated to the prosecution, you spoke to the police about this incident, correct?
Mhm.
And you,
Yes or no?
Yes, right.
and this audio recording, you played it to the police, correct?
No, I didn't play the whole thing to police. Well, not to this police officer,
Well, that's
but
not,
to the other officers that was down that
yeah,
way.
you played it, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So I have to unmute.
No, so when you shared the video, did you push,
Oh, wait.
to share audio? No, you have to keep your device on mute.
Right?
When you shared the video though, did you say, share audio as well?
Yes, I believe so.
Double check. So come out of the share screen. Like, stop sharing the video.
That's
And now click on the share screen. And then you should see a button at the bottom of the video.
Oh, share sound.
Yes. You have to make sure you push that and then the sound will play.
And this is, this is the point where you're speaking to the police, correct?
Okay.
Is that correct?
That's what it looks like. It's not playing.
I'm just gonna object to lack of investigation.
Well, he's asking, oh,
And I'm starting at the, approximately, this is the,
well, counsel, I guess I apologize. She said no. So I thought, she said, no, this is not, I thought she said, no, that's not her talking to the police, but I could be wrong. What?
No, I'm saying that's what it looks like. I'm about to talk to them, but it hasn't started playing yet.
Oh, yes, okay, you may proceed, counsel.
this is approximately at the 1830 mark. This is you playing as audio, correct?
Okay.
Is that correct? Does it look that way? Your on the sound is still not
Yes.
working.
I don't know, I mean, if the sound is on, if there's sound on the video, it should be playing. But here comes IT, they might be able to help. But, let me make sure the sound is up on. You can come on, because I can hear you. We need you.
Is the sound on the Zoom
Let me see.
right now?
Let's try.
Still not working.
Is this one of those, oh wait, I might. push the wrong button. Oh, it's weird, it's so loud.
Oh, it's really good. Oh, it is pretty quiet.
I don't know, maybe Miss Rita should pull it up on her computer. Do you have the same video? Okay, let Miss Rita pull it up,
Okay.
it usually plays on her computer. Thank you, Mr. IT. Let me see what you have. Let me let you in and make your co-host, and then I want to switch to this other part. So. Tell them, because I don't know about this is, you want the sound from the computer. Somebody got me. Miss Rita, are you muted? I am muted. Okay. There's a. This is the court system. She put her. And I'm trying, we're trying to hear, we're trying to get that some technical. But. yeah. It's real low, so. Okay, let's see. Well, hold on. Oh. You can see if it's playing, but she took this out of there, and I think she had to put this back in there before we go back on record. Miss Britta's video seems to have sound. Okay. Just play any part of it. I just want to. Oh, it's. Here. Also, we need to talk about one thing too, because if you know it's great.
Right, I can, From that point right there, I can simply reserve that for any possible closing argument.
Yes, Lois is gonna get this.
I can go ahead.
Do you all hear, is that's the loudest it's gonna be.
I'll move on, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you, but we'll just leave it here for now. Can I call you all to come get it later? Okay, thank you. All right, let's stop it, and then, council, why don't you all approach though? Okay, you may proceed, Councilman.
Yes, play the video at the 1843 mark.
Whatever you go through, what's my husband at your house? Yes, what I'm saying. What my husband at your house or not? I don't want to put you in your public place. I'm trying to find you my husband. I don't think it. I'm asking you, what's my husband at your house? And you can't even tell me. How that help? You look at what she had me like kept pushing like pointing my hour. It ain't shit. If I didn't want to catch a I would cut your fucking head. No, that's the wife. Say rewind back to the beginning. You want to go back? Yeah, go back to the beginning.
Yeah.
That's her talking.
Yeah, that's her talking.
Okay.
It's like and this is before all of the men came.
Now, you heard two voices in that audio recording, correct?
Mhm.
Your voice and Ms. Brown's voice, correct?
Mhm.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, I'm apologies.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, you stated you got mushed in the face and you got hit in the eye, correct?
I got poked in my eye.
You got poked in the eye. Okay, let's play a game called Do You Realize? Do you realize from that audio recording, you never said back up to Ms. Brown?
I said I was backing her up.
No, you never told her to back up, correct?
I'm pushing her out of my way.
Yes or no? You never told her to back up, correct?
I'm pushing her.
Ma'am, it is a yes or no question.
No.
Okay, do you realize that you never said, ouch, my eye?
Yes, I realize.
Okay, do you realize, you never said, get your hand out of my face?
Yes, I realize.
Do you realize you never said, get away from me?
I realize.
Okay, do you realize you never said, call the police or help?
Mhm.
Yes or no?
Yes, I
You realize you never said any of those things, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, now, you said you called the police afterwards, correct?
Yeah.
And isn't it true that someone else called the police beforehand, correct?
I know someone else was calling the police because there was a couple of people outside.
Someone announced they were calling the police, is that true?
There was a couple of people outside that said they were gonna call the police.
Okay, so someone did announce that, right? Yes, okay. And, isn't it true towards the end of the audio recording, you hear Ms. Brown's voice from a distance, correct?
No,
No?
she was still close.
She was still close?
Absolutely. I
Are you-
have it
are
on my phone so you can hear it.
Are you sure about that?
Absolutely. In between that, as he was getting her away from the car. So
So yes, then, right?
I'm saying you can still hear her from a distance, but I'm saying it was still going on. Yes,
That
sir.
was my question.
But I was letting you know what's going on.
Well, thank you so much, but I do need you to answer. No. I need you to answer the question that is being asked to you. Counsel, you may proceed.
Like I said, towards the end of the audio recording, Ms. Brown was a distance away from you, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now you stated you had an infected eye
Yes, I did.
from this incident? Are you a nurse?
No.
You're a doctor?
No.
Okay. And, how'd you relieve that eye issue again?
Flush your eye out with water and contact solution.
Okay. One moment, Attorney.
Okay,
You stated you didn't go to the hospital, correct? Because of this eye issue? And as far as you know, this eye issue that you had is all clear, all good now?
Yes.
Okay. Were you wearing glasses at that time?
No, it was one of my contacts.
Contacts.
Mhm.
So if you were wearing your contacts,
Mhm. Yes.
you drove the car, correct?
No, no.
Afterwards?
Yeah, because he got sent to jail. Yes.
You guessed it right. So you're driving the car,
Mhm.
well,
Yes.
you stated that basically you only got one contact, all right?
Yeah.
So you're driving with not 20/20 vision, correct?
Not 20/20 vision, but I can still see without him.
Okay. Why didn't you call someone to come and get you?
I don't have anyone to come with me.
Okay. I have no further questions at this time.
any redirect?
Very briefly there. So, Ms. Gibson, you saw the, correct? The video that was played?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so you testified that you spoke with the officers when they came to the scene, correct?
Yes.
Okay, at this time, do you recall where Miss Baker was? Did you see Miss Baker, when you were talking to the officer, did you see Miss Baker?
At her house, she was at her house on her porch,
Okay, and where was Mr. Brown at this point?
in the car.
Okay, and the audio recording you're playing for the officers, did this happen before the officers arrived at the scene?
Yes.
Okay, you recall how long ago it happened, before the officers arrived to the scene?
5 or 10 minutes.
Okay, and this audio recording, where was it taken?
I was still sitting in the passenger seat of my car.
Okay, and was this audio recording taken before or after the, incident between Mr. and Mrs. Brown?
It was during, so it was still recorded. Am I,
No,
let me,
let me clarify my
Okay.
question. So, while you were taking the audio where she's speaking, you heard the audio in the video, correct?
yeah, she was still speaking, when, like, are you talking about on my phone that I was
Correct.
recording?
The recording on the
Yeah,
phone.
as she was moving her right, it was still recording.
Okay,
Yeah.
and you testified that that's not the whole audio recording, correct?
No.
That's
it was
just a
still-
snippet of the audio
Yes.
recording? Okay, and at that time, were you still seated in your vehicle?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. May I have one more? Yeah, ma'am. Ms. Gibson, when you testified that Ms. Baker, I think you used pushed you in the face, can you describe that action to the jury?
Absolutely, where you just put your hand in somebody's, your whole hand in somebody's face, and you're mushing, and then before that, it was her 2 fingers like this.
And when you're motioning, and for the record, Judge, I'm putting up 2 fingers in the air as the complainant witness described. As you're motioning the 2 fingers, where were those 2 fingers pointing?
In my eye.
And do you recall her saying anything while she's pointing those 2 fingers at you?
Yeah, she said, I want to punch you in your face, but I don't want to catch a case. And she said, that ain't nothing to what she was just doing to my face.
And she's doing
As
that.
she's
while-
doing this. Yeah,
Okay, and that's what you caught on the report?
yeah.
No further questions?
Okay, that audio recording, it captures that part right there, right? The mushing, the eye poke, it captures all that, right? Yes or no? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. And isn't it true that Ms. Brown was telling you that she wanted to get you, but she wasn't going to, correct?
Yes, but she was proceeding to do that as she was doing that.
And
Did you hear all the motion?
No, now don't ask him any
I'm sorry, my
questions.
apologies.
Yes, I heard you not complaining about not getting hit. So I heard that part, okay? So,
Yes, sir.
where was Mr. Brown during all this?
Mr. Brown was coming towards us to stop the situation.
Okay. I have no further questions.
you have a question? Okay, thank you, ma'am. You may step down and you may remain in the courtroom if you choose to. Counsel, you might want to go. Well, let me ask this question. Approach in the front right here, just approach in the front. All right. People may call in next week.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, if people would like to call Officer Andrea Fairley, please.
Okay. All right, officer, can you step to the court reporter and give her your name first? Officer Fairley. What's your first name?
Andrea Fairley.
Wait, look here. This is spelled for her.
Oh, spell it. Okay.
And then also, is your radio on?
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I just heard it. Again. Then come towards me this way. Come on. And then raise your right hand for me, officer. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes, ma'am. All right, my first question for you, officer, is did you, while you were waiting in the hall, did you watch any of the previous testimony on the live stream YouTube?
No, I have no question.
All right, well then, you're all set. Have a seat. You may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. Good afternoon, Officer Fairley.
Good afternoon.
Officer Fairley, can you state your name again for the jury, please?
It's Officer Andrea Fairley,
Thank you. And Officer Fairley, where are you employed?
with the H precinct, Detroit Police.
And how long have you been employed with the Detroit Police Department?
6.5 years.
Okay, and Officer Fairley, I want to take you back to April 13th of 2021. Do you recall that day?
Honestly, I really don't recall that day.
Okay, that's okay. On that day, do you recall if you were working with DPD?
Yes, I was working with DPD.
Okay, do you recall what capacity you were working in?
I was working as a police officer.
Okay, and what were your duties, or what would have been your duties on that day?
To answer any police runs or whatever that, I was sent from dispatch.
Okay, and on that day, do you recall what you were wearing?
I was fully uniformed.
And can you describe to the jury what, a fully uniforms would be?
Proper pants, the shirt, vest, camera.
Okay, and were you traveling on that day?
What do you mean by trip?
Let me rephrase my question, I'm sorry. When you say you respond to police runs, how do you respond to those runs?
Well, when runs come out, the dispatcher, she'll issue out the runs, whatever available unit that's free, and then we take it.
Okay, and so, do you recall responding to a police run on 16155 Trinity Street?
I do not recall.
Okay, do you recall being in the city of Detroit at that time?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay, and is the city of Detroit in the county of Wayne?
Yes.
Okay, and while you're on the runs, are you on bike, foot, car?
In a fully marked police car.
Okay, and can you describe to the jury what a fully marked police car would be?
Well, I think the cars we had then, it was just like, Chargers, or, we had some Taurus, white with the blue and white Detroit, police on the side.
Okay, and do you recall being with anyone on this particular day?
I'm not objecting, say asked and answered. She called, she already stated twice now that she doesn't recall much about this day.
I do not recall exactly who I was working with that day. Sometimes we don't have like really assigned partners to whoever we are buying with for that particular day.
But do you recall being with someone on that day? Any point in that day, do you recall having a partner on that day?
I looked over my report that I wrote for that day, so according to that, I remember that I did have a partner that day. However,
Hold on, ma'am, there's an objection.
Object, yes, for one, the foundation hasn't been laid to, proper refreshment memory, so I would object and say that's a hearsay for going off of a report. Well, twofold, hearsay, but then also two, has not been a foundation laid to refresh the witness's memory. She stated again for the third time, she does not remember, but from looking at the report.
Ms. Rivers, any response?
I didn't ask her to refer to any report. I asked her, does she recall that day?
Because she stated she didn't, but from looking at the report.
Right, but I guess I'm trying to understand the objection at the moment. So hold on, Council. Officer,
yes, ma'am.
did looking at the report refresh your memory about the events that occurred on this day?
Not 100% of what occurred that day, but it did refresh my memory about the partner because I wrote the report that I did have a partner that day. But however, sometimes I could be an advocate, I could work on myself.
Right, so what you're saying is the report refreshed your memory about the fact that you had a partner, but you don't know what partner you had?
No, ma'am, it just refreshed my memory. I did have a partner, but I was just explaining, we don't have assigned partners, so sometimes it's different people every day.
Right now, I'll overrule the objection, but, okay.
Yes, Judge. Okay, so Officer Fairley, what do you recall about the incident that you responded to on the police front?
I'm gonna object now, say, I asked and answered, I believe now 4 different times, especially that
Council,
last.
what I say about speaking?
Oh, yes, I asked and answered, I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you. Any response?
Judge, I'm asking her about the specific run on that day.
Come, approach.
May I proceed, Judge? You may. Thank you. So Officer Fairley, I'm gonna re-ask you.
Well, I'm sorry, just in case I didn't say it for the record, the objection is overruled based on what we said in the hallway, but we'll see where it goes.
Thank you, Judge. So Officer Fairley, I'm gonna re-ask my question. Do you remember responding to a police run on that day?
on a police run, this particular police run?
Yes, ma'am.
Honestly, no.
Okay, by looking at your report, will that refresh your recollection?
Yes.
Judge, may I approach?
Man,
And when you're done reviewing that, Officer Fairley, just look up.
This time I'm going to raise an objection, as this is outside the scope of refreshing your memory.
what do you mean, counsel? I don't understand.
I believe refreshing memory goes towards a particular portion, not the whole.
Hold on, oh,
So, Officer Fairley, did you have an opportunity to review your report that day?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you, based off your report, what do you recall about this particular incident that you responded to on April 13th of 2021?
It was an altercation between, the offender's wife and child's mother.
Okay, and after reviewing your report, do you recall what happened when you first arrived at the scene?
Yes. This, when we first arrived there, well, okay, so when we first arrived there, we always talked to two different people. My partner, he was, that was working that day, he's more so like the primary officer because he was the person that was jumping, that was doing the report. My report is just a supplement report. So when I first got there, I really just talked to the involved other, which would be the mother of the offender, of what, the child's mother.
Okay, and the person you're referring to as the child's mother, do you see that person in the courtroom today?
Yes,
Okay, and can you point that person out and tell me what they're wearing?
blue t-shirt.
Okay, does that person have anything on their face?
Yes, glasses.
Judge made a record reflect identification of the complainant in this Sherian Gibson.
the record reflect the identification of this Gibson.
Okay, now, Officer Fairley, I'm sorry, did you testify that you spoke with Ms. Gibson,
Yes,
the person you're referring to as the child's mother?
yes.
Okay, and when you initially spoke with Ms. Gibson, did you notice anything about Ms. Gibson?
I honestly don't remember exactly how her face or anything looked at that.
Okay, if I gave you a document to review a report, would that refresh your recollection?
Yes.
Judge, may I approach?
Man,
May I pardon you witness
about what, counsel?
about this, because that's the same report.
I don't understand why you would want to avoid being a witness, but I'm confused.
Okay, go ahead. I restrain.
Okay,
The approach.
you may.
So Officer Fairley, I just handed you, police report. Once you're done reviewing that report, you look up. Officer Fairley, if you're done reviewing the report, if you can just put those face down on the, witness stand, that'll be fine. So, Officer Fairley, after having an opportunity to review the police report, do you recall, anything about Ms. Gibson when you approached her?
Honestly, I don't, I can't, I don't have a visual in my head about how anyone looked on that day, honestly.
Okay,
We have so many police running that every day, it was like 2 years ago, so.
okay, that's fine. So, after reviewing the police reports, Officer Fairley, what do you, recall about speaking with, Ms. Gibson?
All right, so. If I'm going through police reports, is basically it's an altercation between,
Your Honor, objection. I'm sorry, I'm not stating the name, but her memory is not refreshed.
That's fine. Judge, may I have one? Officer Fairley, were you, equipped with, body worn cameras on this day?
yes, ma'am.
Okay. And do you recall if your body worn camera was operating functional on this day?
It should have been.
Okay. Just not sure, my screen is fixing.
You get your counsel, go ahead. What do you-
I thought you,
What I'm thinking, but
Yes, I was-
did you have an objection? Do you have an objection?
yes, essentially, yes, it's the same line of objections. About the witnesses.
So I guess approach.
In the front yard?
On the side right here.
Thank you, Judge. Can I share my screen at this moment? Officer Fairley, can you see the screen, the monitor in the court? Yes, ma'am. Do you see the headline at the top of the display on the screen? The top of my head? Okay,
I apologize, what did you say? I didn't see my name on top of this one. Okay.
and viewing that heading at the top of your screen and your name, what do you recognize that display to be?
The body worn camera footage.
Okay, and would the body worn camera have been altered or depicted in any way, based off of the identification markers that you see on the display? Okay, Judge, at this time, people would like to, admit people's proposed exhibit 1 into evidence as Officer Andrea Fairley's body worn camera.
Your Honor, I would object. She has not stated like.
Well, just object, but you can already tell us what's. Just what, your
Objection.
objection is lack of foundation at this point?
Yeah, yes.
Officer, I agree at this moment, but I'm gonna ask you a question. So, on a regular basis, when you are in full uniform, are you equipped with body worn camera?
Yes, ma'am, every day.
And what about the body worn camera? So looking at the screen, what about that tells you that this footage is from your body worn camera?
The name at the top of it.
And what about the screen would show you what incident the body worn camera is showing us? How do you know what incident this is? Like, is it a date, time? What's on this thing that tells you where you are?
Well, it should be a date on there, but I can't see it right here, like it's cut off by where it say line.
I was trying to move it and I can't move it, I can't move it.
So I can't see the date, but I know it should be a date on there.
Judge, I can approach with my laptop. So she can see a better view.
Okay, yeah, approach her with your screen, but you might wanna approach you, I don't know. So I'm sustaining the objection from the standpoint that even if this is her body worn camera, she says she doesn't recall the incident, counsel. So her body worn camera, would have to depict something that says that it's from this incident, otherwise we could just be looking at anybody worn camera. Am I making sense? Okay, so that's what I'm asking her, okay? So you may approach her with your computer.
May I approach you?
Okay.
So looking at my laptop screen, Officer Fairley, do you see the date of this incident?
Yes, I do. It is April the 13th, 2021.
Okay. Where you see that at?
At the very top, you see right where the line said? It's always the year first, the month, and then the date after.
Oh, why did you stop sharing the screen? I was looking at that. Oh, I didn't see it like that in front of you. That's how we talk.
So Officer Fairley,
If you gonna share something different.
I don't know who I was gonna shoot.
Okay, so before you proceed, Officer Fairley, I want you to come off the witness box. I want you to come around to my computer.
Okay.
Council, come to my computer. Everybody come to my computer. On these numbers up here, show me where the date is.
Okay, so see right here, so 221,
Yeah.
0221.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
right here. It's 04, that's the month, and the 1, 2, 3.
And then what's 0916? What does that mean? Does that mean?
Not probably 16.
Okay. All right, then.
So Officer Fairley, based on the, body worn camera depiction displayed in the courtroom, do you remember the incident?
All of what I've seen, I just seen one of the, I just seen the complaint and I didn't see, over video footage, so I don't remember like exactly everything verbatim that happened on that day. I don't remember.
But you testified that you saw the complainant
Yes,
and you referred to that person as the, child's mother in court, correct?
yes,
And you now know that to be Ms. Sherry on this, correct?
yes.
Judge, at this time, if people would like to admit, people supposed to do one today. Any objection?
Yes, I would object to still on the same foundation. Same basis.
The objection is overruled by the camera.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, Your Honor, the people playing People's Exhibit 1 at 38 seconds.
She came to my home, threw all his clothes out on my lawn, very disrespectful, 7 o'clock in the morning.
This portion of the video is not speaking to evidence related to this case.
What do you mean?
Relevant, not relevant.
But what do you mean? I don't understand what you mean.
She just started playing the video, and you heard someone speaking. I'm saying that the statements that person was speaking are not relevant to this matter. So if we're going to play the video, because there's portions of the video, possible hearsay, relevancy, so on and so forth. So if we're going to play the video, we have to play it when it comes to this case, the portions that are related to this case. Just can't play it on video.
Thank you.
All right, so Jerry.
Witness, please step in the hall. I'm not the complaining witness, I'm talking about this witness.
Oh.
Get your ratio witness gonna say what?
Want me to stop sharing the screen?
Yes, please. You want me to see? Counsel, this is unacceptable. I don't know what's going on in this trial, so we had an arraignment, a pretrial, a final pretrial, and probably another final pretrial. I probably at the final pretrial, before the final pretrial, so the final pretrial, before the last final pretrial, I should have said, I don't remember because I don't always say everything the same, but I should have said, if there are any pretrial motions or any motions, then they need to be filed so that they can be heard on the last final pretrial. And then this morning I said, there's an issue before I bring it to you. Now this trial has been a little stressful in and of itself just because of some. But I am totally and completely and befuddled that as to how you can play a video. As to how you can play a video. And of course, I don't believe that just because one person don't object, that I can't object. I understand that. So, the officer's body cam was shown. There was no objection from the people when the body cam was shown and the defendant's statements were being played by the defense, which was a complete and total hearsay. For the defense to play a video with the defendant's statements. And then the video had the complaining witness on the video, talking on the video too. And then before we started court, Ms. Ritter said, I'm gonna play the same video. I have a computer, I'm gonna play the video. How do I play the video? Then Ms. Ritter said, well, I'm gonna play the same video. And then at this time, when I said, are there any matters before I bring it to you? Nobody said, well, I'm objecting. If Ms. Ritter's gonna play the video, I'm gonna object because parts of the video are hearsay. And then there was no motion in limine filed that said there are parts of the police body cam hearsay, and therefore I'm objecting to the police body cam. You all wait until I get in front of my jury and make objections that should be made in pretrial motions, make objection about redacting videos after we have played the video to the jury. I don't understand. I do not understand.
May I respond?
You may.
Okay, so when I played the video, it was specifically related to the portion that's related to this incident, right? Didn't play nothing more, nothing else outside of that. In terms of,
How is that related to the incident? The incident was over. When the police showed up,
no, the recording, no,
when the police showed up, the incident was over. Therefore, everything that you showed in that video was hearsay.
she played to the police a recording
Of your client,
of the incident, right?
of your client.
So both, she stated both of those voices in that audio recording was hers and my client's. So that would be excited utterance.
And not if a proper foundation wasn't laid for excited utterance.
In present sense impression.
Not if a proper foundation wasn't laid for present impression.
I believe.
What I'm asking is, why are we in front of my jury with objections to a video that has been turned over months and months ago? This is my question. Why are we in the presence of the jury objecting to a video that was turned over months ago and that was spoken of this morning, when everybody said, I'm showing the video, I'm showing the video? And then I said, are there any issues before I bring in the jury? And then the only issue that was presented to this court was over some verdict form. We're gonna recess for the day. We're gonna recess for the day. You all gonna figure out that video. We have, a witness on the stand who can't remember nothing. This is a body cam video, and I don't know the purpose that you want to show the video for, but we'll figure it out tomorrow. But let me just be clear. I am not happy that an issue such as this, which should have been brought to the court's attention before the video was being played to the jury, before the trial, really, because it should have been in a motion to eliminate. And I will consider the objection. I don't know what that video shows because nobody told me that there was anything objectionable in the video. Nobody said, well, Judge, if he gonna play this video, then this blah, 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 or she's gonna play this video, then this blah, blah, blah. But it is unacceptable. It is unacceptable to raise this issue at the moment that now we've permitted the video. I don't have the body cam video. I don't know what she was getting ready to say. I don't know if this doesn't have anything to do with the case. I don't know. Why don't I know? Because nobody brought it to my attention. Court's in recess. We're gonna start tomorrow at, let me see the document. I brought it. I had it. Sorry. Did you print it already?
I brought it up on screen. I print it.
Wait, what's today?
Today's 11.
Why did I bring Thursday? Yeah, we're gonna start at, we'll probably start at the same time, 10:30. And I'll take up the issue of body cam tomorrow. You've been burned.
No, thank you.
Bring in the jury. Wait, did they go downstairs? Did they go downstairs? Did y'all get- Oh, you didn't give it to them?
No, I was signing them.
Oh, no, I wanted you to give them to them so they could get their money.
But you want them to come back right now.
I need them to come back right quick, though. Bring the officer in as well.
Okay.
Oh, are they coming in yet? No. Tell the YouTube, we got it. I told the people to help me, not was you. I know, I told them you called. Are we ready for the jury to come in? I told you, that's how they do. No, I need the jury in first.
So they go right now, Judge.
All right.
All rise for the jury.
It's gonna be quick, y'all can stay standing. All right, sit down. All right, I'm gonna recess for today. Gonna return tomorrow, I need you here by 10:15. I need everyone here by 10:15. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, I need all 8 of you to start. I do have a morning docket. But I looked at the morning docket. And it looks like it's equivalent to today's docket. So today I got finished at about 10:15. So I need you all to be here so we can start, because now we have a little bit more ground to cover tomorrow than we thought. Any questions before I discharge you?
And we'll be finished tomorrow.
Well, I hope so. But I won't say that, let me tell you why I won't say you will be finished tomorrow. When I say 2 days, I never say this in jury selection, because then people try to come up with excuses. Your deliberation is your business. So your deliberation is your business. We will be finished with the case tomorrow. Then your deliberations, that's your business. So I don't, we can't interfere in your deliberation. You could potentially deliberate till Friday, if that's what it takes for you to do what you want to do. You know, so at a certain point, when we give you the instruction, you'll understand, you know, but so the case will be finished tomorrow. The testimony and the arguments will be finished tomorrow. My instructions will be finished tomorrow. And then the 6 will deliberate. And then I will let you know that the two that are gonna be alternates, the way that it works is that while you won't deliberate initially, I will not be releasing you from jury service. What does that mean? That means that I am gonna let you leave, but if the jury doesn't reach a verdict, like when that day, we'll let you know the next day you're still on call in case of an emergency. So what the alternate is the emergency backup. So if one of the jurors has an emergency, then the alternate would have to come in. I've only had that happen once. I've been a judge for 16 years. But that's just, to kind of give you an idea. Any question? I'm gonna let you go because I want you to be able to cash your voucher. So they're gonna give you the voucher, you can cash it today at the cashier. And then each day you get a voucher each day, I think, whatever. So officer, I need you here back at 10:15 tomorrow. Okay? All right.
Do we keep our badges?
Yes, ma'am. So thank you for saying that. Keep your badge. Lay your clothes out tonight and put your badge on there, or put your badge on your purse. You need that badge. It's important that you keep that badge, so when you come in tomorrow. Also, I didn't check the weather, but it's a little summery. And a couple of people, they weren't actually in my dress code policy today, but I didn't kick them out the courtroom. But not any of you, not any of you. I'm just saying some people that came. I know it's summer, but a court attire is business casual at a minimum. No shorts, no tank tops, no tankinis and stuff like that. Okay? Thank you all so
So
much.
we meet back.
At that room that you came to after lunch, at that door. Yes, ma'am. All right?
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Everybody have a good night.
You too.
Thank you. And leave your notes if you've taken them or not, and then we're gonna lock them up in the cabinet. All right, we're in recess.
Now, may we approach briefly?
Okay.